Um, Mr. President, distinguished and honored guests, fellow Rotarians, indeed, it is very pleasing to have such a brilliant and glowing introduction, which I don't think I deserve. But I want to just start by saying that many of you are most familiar with the history of polio and the various events and activities we've organized over the last 35 years. So if you heard this before, you please excuse my repetition, and I beg your indulgence on this occasion. And as you say, it's an update. So let's just go back a little bit. This is just before the pandemic. We were there in January 2020, just before the pandemic got hold of us. And in terms of little bit of background, I was district governor for 1920, and one of my major push was to support End Polio Now campaign. And it just happened that I had the opportunity to go to Amritsar in the National Immunization Day, and I'll be talking about that. But the outline of the talk is my visit and a delegation to India, followed by a recent visit to Bangladesh, and then living with End Polio Now and what's the future for us. My journey with Rotary started as a child in Jinja, Uganda, where I was born. And you can see I was born with a glowing mustache then. That's the age of 6 months that I was photographed. So you see the connection there. It started when I was myself immunized with a sugar cube, with the polio drops on the sugar cube. I understand that you are all younger than me, but I just turned 70. So I just wondered if some of you remember the sugar cubes. But that's how I started. And at the age of 16, I joined Interact. And that's my journey. So in total, I've been with Rotary 54 years, 40 years in my own club in Rotary Club of Bradford, where we're celebrating the centenary this year. In 2022. So it's been in my DNA almost all the time, Rotary, and I just pay wholehearted tribute to Rotary for enabling me to do. And I came here as a refugee in 1972 during the Idi Amin crisis. So the recent developments in Afghanistan and Ukraine and seeing all these refugees fleeing brings back memories, and it gives me nightmares. And in fact, it just post-traumatic stress syndrome comes back again. All the nightmares that we endured whilst we were coming here in 1972. So really starting on with the National Immunization Day in India, the opportunity presented us to go to India and Amritsar. And Amritsar is very close proximity to Pakistan, where polio is still endemic. You can see on the map, it's very, very close. The border between Lahore and Amritsar is only about 30 kilometers, about 20 miles. So it's very near the proximity, and they are very keen to carry on. And Mega is pointing the pointers to give you some idea, if you can see the proximity within the Amritsar district and Lahore next to Pakistan. So it gives you the context of why it is important to keep on immunizing children across those borders to maintain the vigilance and surveillance. And Amritsar, Rotary Club of Amritsar Midtown were hosting us, and they really took us under their wings and enabled us to participate in the National Immunization Day. For example, 170 million children were immunized in one day. And you can see on the first day, for example, we started with the school rally. I think you can see the passion, the enthusiasm of all the people in Amritsar, particularly, and the Rotary Club of Midtown was amazing. Their commitment, their hospitality, their friendship, the programs that they organized. They had stands all over the city, including impoverished areas. We had our own station, and we started with a huge awareness walk, with a rally in the city, with the school children leading the way. You can see all those things, and there were about 10 people in our delegation from various parts of the United Kingdom. And the weather was, according to their standard, it was very cold, so they had warm jackets on, you can see, but I had my shirt, just as t-shirt on, and they were just always wondering why I was not wearing warm clothes, and it was just amazing. The weather was there quite pleasant, but I don't know if you can see it all, but that is the flavor, just an idea about what we did on the first day. Huge awareness. And then we carried on with the immunization program. It was so huge and vast. We had lots and lots of activities in the community building in Amritsar Midtown, where it's the club is situated. Now you can see here, I actually administered about 70 children with the vaccination. And we, on the last day, on the left, you see me going into the slum areas and finding children in the schools, immunizing them on the first left-hand picture. And there's a name of the school there. And you see Mega on the left-hand side, in the left-hand corner, after the immunization, giving the traditional violet ink on the finger. And then you see the delegates in the middle picture, on the right-hand side, on the top-hand corner, where we all gathered. In the middle, we are just arriving in the hotel where we were staying. And you can see the children in the school, very, very disciplined, very well behaved. The staff were absolutely spot on, and everybody was overwhelmed. We took lots of gifts for the children to give whilst we were giving them drops. A package made with pencils and rubber and foot rulers and some crayons. They were absolutely overwhelmed by those gifts that the children received. And of course, they also took some biscuits and fruit for healthy living kind of thing. So we had lots of fruit, apples, bananas, oranges, grapes we distributed. So that's just an indication of what activities we did. And then afterwards, the Rotary Club of Midtown, Amritsar Midtown, they also run a shelter for destitute women and children, but also they run a blind school. If you go on to the next one, Mega, if we got something. Oh yeah, whilst we were, this is a very interesting story. The awareness of the community is so phenomenal in Amritsar district, and they were using the Golden Temple as a base. They had a station there to immunize all the visitors that were coming. Hundreds and thousands of visitors would come to the temple, Golden Temple, and we had a stand there. These two colleagues were actually from the government of India. The government funds these people to come and immunize children. And this just shows the close collaboration that the club has with local community and faith organizations and other organizations. They are very well connected. And I think this is where we can learn some lessons in this country, how we connect with organizations other than the business that we normally do. So, and we were blessed. You can see on the right-hand side, we were properly dressed, and we had the blessings of the Guru there. and we had delicious free food they provide. That's amazing. There we are. I don't know if some of you have been there or not, but it was a very pleasant experience. So going on to the next slide there, Mega, we just go.
It's just stuck. One sec.
Sorry?
It's just got stuck for some reason. 1 second.
Okay, so whilst you're sorting that out, this is a building donated by a philanthropist to the Rotary Club of Midtown. You can see the name is Ganesh Das Chadia Rotary Center. They've donated the whole building to Rotary Club of Midtown, and they use this building as a medical center. So they have a general practitioner, they have a dentist, they have an optician, and everybody comes in. They have a pharmacy there, they have a lab, biochemistry lab, and they give treatment to anybody who walks in. And then on the first floor, they have sewing machines where they teach people to a trade for tailoring. And on the middle picture, you can see there's a patient in there, and these are the dentists giving treatment, all free of charge. And then on the third floor, they had hairdressing and henna services for ladies. So they're training people, empowering women to learn a trade, learn a skill, and enable them to get on, which is so Rotary. I think, you know, this is so Rotary, enabling people to have a means of earning and get out of poverty. And one person is trained and the whole family benefits. I think this is absolutely amazing. The Rotary Club of Midtown, Amritsar, they're doing. So we have to think about different models of how we operate and how we engage with the communities and provide services. It's not just one way that we are accustomed to. Now here you can see, on the left, you can see this building was being built. It's a shelter for women who suffer domestic violence and elderly people, parents who are abandoned. Now, you wouldn't think that this would happen in India, but it is happening. And so this building was being built, and you can see health and safety is absolutely paramount. On the left-hand side, you can see a lady who is laboring. She would just walk across that plank, carrying about 50 bricks on her head, up and down. Very, very amusing. And we were just outside here in front of the building, being welcomed to show the facilities. They have a swimming pool, they have big gymnasium, facilities for children, and this has just been opened, entirely funded by Rotarians and some charitable organizations. So Rotary Club of Midtown, Amritsar Midtown, amazing, amazing organization, amazing club. And our lasting memory is their hospitality, the fellowship. Going to next one, Mega. Is there a next slide? Yeah, you can see they operate from a school. One of the past district governor is a trustee of the school, and they have one of the focus, which is special needs. They absolutely care for people who have got children who got disabilities. And you can see in the middle, there's a plaque by past Rotary International President Rajendra K. Sabu, who came and opened this particular hall. And you can see the school facilities. We were just there at the Republic Day of India celebrations. They were preparing for it, 26th of January. And to see young children from most desperate backgrounds with the uniform and all the things that they do for the school is just out of this world. And this is where these young population, young children will be thriving and future citizens of India. And this is all credit to the Rotary Club of Amritsar Midtown. Absolutely amazing. We move on to the next slide. We talked about the hospitality. yeah, this was our final day. We were all garlanded and presented with the traditional shawl, very well hosted. Banners were exchanged, and friendships were solid, were strengthened, and were absolutely formulated. And it's been 3 years now nearly, and we have made lasting friends. We are in contact on almost on a daily basis with at least a couple of past district governors. On the middle, there is Janet Crampton. She's now the end polio coordinator for our district. She wasn't interested, but she now is so focused and targeted to help eradication of polio. So that was our experience of polio immunization day in Amritsar, and we left with great joy and determination to continue the fight for polio. We moved across to Pakistan and met my fellow district governor, fellow classmate, Mubarak Shahid, and they hosted us. We exchanged banners, and we continued to work in and try and devise methods in which we can help assist to get Pakistan polio free, which we nearly are now. So the battle continues with gusto, and these people are very determined. And the past district governor now, Mubarak Shahid, has invited as many people as want to go to celebrate end polio in Pakistan when that it happens. And he's said that he will host everybody free of charge. All we have to do is to get there. So that is what Rotary does: fellowship, friendship, food, fun, and doing good for others. So that's our experience. And by the way, I just want to say that at the border between India and Pakistan, we were entertained lavishly by the two ceremonies that take place, and I took our delegation there as an extra item, and I think that's the most memorable part of our journey and trip to India and Pakistan. We followed on from India, so Amritsar to Lahore to then Mumbai, because everywhere I go, I just like to go and visit clubs, and I saw this Rotary Club of Bombay Uptown. Amritsar was Midtown. This is Bombay Uptown. So we thought we'll have a balance, Midtown, Uptown. And we went to Uptown, and we saw 3-day, in fact, it was 1-day event for Jaipur Lem. These guys, they have got facilities where they measure the people on the day. They cast the mold, and the casting is done on site within few hours. You can see in the middle the laboratory where they do it, and they fit about 1,000 people with different prostheses during the week, all free of charge. And I think they give an equivalent of £30 to each person who comes. So they go away with some money to start earning their living or start doing whatever they were doing. And in the middle and on the left, you can see, I'm presenting, exchanging the banners, but on the left-hand side, you can see the blue scarf kind of thing that I made. I devised that scarf, which is a cross between a shawl and a scarf, which is a traditional greeting that people in India and subcontinent give to people and when they want to honor them. So I designed that scarf with Rotary symbols in it, with my name on one side and the Rotary logo on the other side. Rotary connects the world, which went down extremely well. You can see in the middle, you can see on the right hand side as well. So that's my experience and a little bit of update in terms of polio eradication and our visits to India. So Amritsar, Lahore in Pakistan, and Mumbai in India. Following on just quickly to Bangladesh, just recently, 4 weeks ago, I took a delegation to Bangladesh. On the left, you can see the Minister of Sports. You see prominently, they were all, I was exchanging banners. On the bottom is the Mayor of Sylhet. Sylhet is a city where most of the Bangladeshis living in the United Kingdom originate from. And Bradford is the second largest population of Bangladeshis in the United Kingdom. So it was very important that we made links, and I led the civic delegation with the chair, with the Lord Mayor of Bradford. So on the left is the Minister of Sports, and I took the chairman of Bradford Bulls with me, who is a rugby league team. Is there, Nigel Wood, OBE. In the middle, lower middle, is the British High Commissioner in Dhaka. He was very happy to receive us and to assist us in all the activities Rotary. On the top middle one is the discussion with the Sylhet Chamber of Commerce. They were very interested in, strangely, you know, there was people, members of Rotary in that organization, so many of them. And then we went to Cox's Bazar, where the Rohingya refugees from Burma are, and I'm very passionate about refugees because I'm a refugee myself and can go and assist anybody in that kind of situation. I'm very happy. I've been to Bangladesh 3 times, by the way, to promote community cohesion and business opportunity and Rotary activities in Bangladesh. And likewise, I've been to Pakistan 3 times and India several times, just to try and make better relations with everybody. And the mayor of Cox's Bazar, I just went, we met him for the first time. And when we exchanged we did all the sort of civic activities and greetings, and we told them why we were there. And then I said, I want to present to you on behalf of my Rotary Club of Bradford, a banner to recognize what Rotary does in this area. And he jumped with joy because he said, oh, you should have said before, because I'm a Rotarian and I'm a past president of the Rotary Club of Cox's Bazar. And then he commanded his team there, and he said, these guys are not going anywhere from now on. They are my personal guests. And the whole protocol was unleashed. So we had police and army escorts, and we were hosted in a special hotel. The dinners were arranged, the lunches were arranged. The hospitality was lavish and absolutely amazing. That's what Rotary does, fellow Rotarians. So that's my conclusion part in terms of my trip to Amritsar, Lahore, and to Mumbai, and then Bangladesh to cap off. And I just want to finally close by just updating you with what I have done. So you can see that is my car. It's a Mercedes GLS, which is emblazoned with Rotary and Polio. It's running around Bradford and district and the whole of Yorkshire for the last 4 years. And then to promote better awareness and raise funds, I teamed up with the biggest, or one of the 10th biggest bakery companies in the United Kingdom, based in Bradford, called Regal Foods. They are based in Bradford, but they are Pakistani owned. And I asked them to formulate a special Madeira cake, which they made, and I sold them during October in 2019. And sadly, I wanted to make it national, but I had no response from RIBI to help to market it and promote it. I had no support in my own district. So sadly, it didn't materialize. But these guys are a national company. They sell in Asda, Morrison's, Tesco's, all other supermarkets, and we could have raised thousands of pounds through them if this was implemented, because purple is such an unusual cake, and it tasted absolutely delicious. Those who bought it said, where can we buy it again? But sadly, it didn't have traction. And then my personal bit, I think this is my very emotional personal bit. Emotional in the sense that I started with Rotary in 1968, and I was 50. I had a mustache which I had not shaved off for 52 years. My family, my children, my relatives, nobody had seen me without a mustache. So when we got into lockdown, I started growing a beard. You can see there a white one. And then my daughter Mega said, Dad, why don't you let it grow and dye it purple and shave it off, including your mustache and your hair and everything else? And let's see how much money we can raise. And by doing that, my target was 52 years. So 5,200 pounds, 100 pounds for every year. But in the end, I raised 7,000 pounds. And with the multiplier, 21,000 pounds was raised on Just Giving and the multiplier. And that would have immunized 120,000 children. And that would have changed lives of 120,000 children and their families. But for me, the mustache has grown up, has grown again. So I'm back to normal, but those children's lives have been changed. And so that is my personal commitment. You can see my own car, the Madeira cake, shaving off the 52-year-old mustache, just because I am committed to eradicating polio. It is a crowning glory of Rotary's gift to the world. And all of you have contributed. And I don't want that individual person who has given all they have over the last 35, 40 years to eradicate polio. I want Rotary to shout this from the rooftops. I want everybody in the world to understand how we have managed to get rid of this very horrible, nasty disease. So, fellow Rotarians, distinguished and honored guests, I'm thrilled to bits to have had this opportunity to talk to you across the Pennines. I hope that it's given you a flavor, it's a gallop, and it's a glimpse of what I've done. I hope that it is useful, and I'm happy to take any questions. Thank you so much.
That was absolutely superb, Manoj. Yes. So
it's a wonderful 40 years of dedication, and your life are amazing.
thank you for that, Helen. So has anybody got any questions or clarification and even comments to make? The floor is yours, as it were.
Can I just ask, Manoj,
yes,
how many
Sorry,
cities in India do Rotary get involved with? You mentioned obviously Amritsar where you went, but how many other cities?
Well, throughout India, in every state, they have activities for national immunization. That's how they are able to immunize 170 million children in one day. So it's all across India, in every city. There was some, the national, our RIBI editor, David King, was in Delhi whilst we were in Amritsar, visiting Delhi and talking to people down there. So it's all over India and wherever connections, but we were connected from one of the past district governors from Manchester. I can't remember his name. Yates.
Yes, Mike Yates.
Yeah, Mike Yates. He connected us with Amritsar. And Peter, I'm a Rotarian since I was 16. My wife is a Rotarian. My daughter is a Rotarian. We have. I just cannot speak highly enough about what a Rotary does and the impact it has made. And I've met people, amazing people like yourselves. Where would I meet as a refugee? Somebody just coming to a strange country, not knowing anything, but Rotary just embraces you and you become friends. Now, guys in Amritsar, they've adopted my daughter, Mega. They're not interested in me when they say, how is the little one? When they write to me, they say, how is the little one? They don't say, how am I? Because she's endeared. And the friendships we made is just so joyful, so fulfilling. And I just cannot. And I think we underestimate this as Rotarians. I'm not very, very popular where I am, or even in the Rotary circles, because when I joined 40 years ago, I have been trying since then to break down barriers and trying to be more inclusive in everything. So when I joined my club, I had 120 members. I was the first or ethnic minority person in it. Now my club has dwindled to 13 active members. But during the last 40 years, I've introduced 22 members, started 2 interact clubs, 2 corporate members. And out of those 22 members, 16, we got 30 active, 30 members in our club, but 13 active. But 16 members that I introduced, they are still members. But they have been, so we are the most diverse club: Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs, Christians, no faith, African, Caribbean people, all sorts of people in my club. But somehow the club has not responded by engaging with all these people in an active and meaningful way. So these guys, they come and go, but they actually don't participate fully. I think that's what we really need to up the game in terms of opening up. So, am I talking too much?
No. I think
Susan
had a hand up to ask a question. So
Okay.
Susan, over to you.
No, I just wanted to say I'm so amazed and impressed at your incredible achievements. And I just wish I could grow a beard.
Or a moustache.
Did you not hear? It's Velcro.
Ah, right. I've got some in the cupboard. I'll get it out.
This is my wife, by the way. She's sitting here. She's Bhavna.
Hi. Hi there. Hi.
Hi.
And just to prove that it's Velcro, she pulled it and it nearly came off. In fact, you know, it's you know, the mustache is a topical. Wherever, as many places I go, they say, "Is it real?" I said, "Okay, just to prove that it is real or not, only ladies can pull it." And so many people come and they pull it and they say, "Oh," and then a few say, "Can we kiss you?" And then my wife is there and she says, "Please do."
Oh,
So
I look forward to meeting you.
yeah.
Yes, we look forward to meeting that. We do look forward to meeting that moustache and for real.
Yeah.
Not so much meeting you, but meeting your moustache, Manoj. You know, I think your moustache precedes you. So
What I wanted to say, Mr. President, is you know, Rotary and what Rotary does is needed, is relevant, is absolutely, I would say, integral. What's happened is the pathway for people to join or to collaborate or to support Rotary. That pathway has not been very clear and has been blurred. So in the past, the only pathway was somebody recommend somebody and somebody, you know, that was the only way. But that stopped working because people got old and they never brought anybody in, and you know, just declined. But when I was district governor, you know, they said, "Oh, membership." So I said, well, you need to raise awareness and the image of Rotary in the community in which you live and work, and how you do. That's another story. But what I said was that teachers, lawyers, solicitors, accountants, travel agents, shopkeepers, supermarket managers, all those people, doctors, dentists, opticians, they are all there. The professions and vocations that we were dealing with, the electricians, the plumbers, the building merchants, all those people are there. Just the link between them and joining Rotary or becoming part of Rotary has been severed, is not very clear. And the other thing is that, like my own club, we still meet on a Friday lunchtime. Now, the population in which we live and work, Fridays is not very convenient for them. Because vast majority, 30% of my population in my area, the city center club, they are Pakistani Muslim origin people. On a Friday, they go for prayers. Not everybody goes, but when I say come to a meeting, they say, oh, Friday, they don't want to come. So I said, why don't we do Friday evenings, for example? And the remaining members, they completely no. And I tell you why it's so relevant and important. I also have an organization called Professional Muslim Institute. They have got 1,000 members nationally, and they all attend meetings every month on a Friday evening in Bradford, and over 100 people attend on a Friday evening. And I said, why don't we do a Friday evening meeting at least once a month for this crowd to be engaged? And nobody wanted to know. So we are not willing to change and adapt to our local conditions and the population, because it doesn't matter whether we are white or black or Jews or non-Jews, or Rotary is relevant to everybody. And we need to give that opportunity for people to start contributing to Rotary. And I can tell you that people are willing to give, they're looking for avenues of service, but they don't have a clear pathway. So I think maybe I've not explained that very clearly or very forcefully or whatever way, but I think I'm just saying that we need to make it easier for people to join, and we have to reach out.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think we've had any more questions or comments for Manoj? I think to echo what you say, we've had a superb presentation this evening, and my memory goes back to Belfast in the 50s and 60s, and I can remember a girl at my primary school who was wearing the calipers that you had to wear in those days if you contracted polio, and that's in a Western country in the 1950s, so since 1979 when we launched polio, we've come an awful long way forward, but we've branched much further than polio. We've had a superb insight not just into the progress that's been made in polio eradication, but the efforts of Rotary around the world, where the true meaning of Rotary is service above self's embraced in the widest way possible in Amritsar, with this wonderful iconic golden temple, and Lahore, and in Bombay, and that Rotary Centre that we saw, was absolutely excellent. That sort of work that's being done. It's a lesson for all of us. And what you were saying about the need to remove barriers, the irony is that because of COVID, volunteering and community engagement has exploded across the UK, but have we as an organization really capitalized on that? Possibly not. And I can recall in my own club the difficulty of getting women to join. We actually had the vote to allow women to join. That was the rule that came from RI from 1986 until the early years of this century. And in my club, we voted to allow women. It was always rejected every year until I was president, and I cast the casting vote in favor of allowing women. Heaven forbid, women in Rotary. My God, that's terrible. And on that particular night, 2 members resigned and walked out from that meeting. We never saw them again, which is showing how archaic Rotary was. And that was in 1996. So that's not so many more years ago. And this club, is quite rightly has embraced that the fact that we need to be progressive and we need to break down those barriers, as you've just referred to, Manoj. And if we can get more members as lovely as your Mega, that would be superb, So, you're very lucky. But seriously, I mean, it's been a fantastic presentation. It's ranged way beyond just simply polio, giving us an awful lot of things to think about. And ironically, Peter and Robin, Julie and I had a meeting for a short time. Graham's not too well, and I think he's had to leave us this evening quite early, but I'll phone him later and see how he is. But he's got COVID and trying to recover from that. But we had a meeting this morning planning about the future of the club next year, and all those issues you have just brought up, a lot of those were discussed. Diversity, the need to attract new members, the need to be involved more, and the need for sustainability and so on. So you've reinforced a lot of thinking that we've already got in the club, and you've reinforced it very, very strongly in a superb way by showing us examples from across the world, away over there in the Indian Peninsula. And that's been fun. India, Pakistan and Bangladesh. That's been absolutely fantastic, and give us an awful lot to think about. And we're very, very grateful to you. And we hope we can call you back again and maybe get you across to Manchester in the flesh, as it were, to come across and visit us when we've got the mobility and so forth and able to do that. I mean, you start going back to face-to-face meetings. You'd be very, very welcome anytime. And I hope I can maybe visit your club in Bradford, because I'm developing links with 1040 and one of the projects I'm involved in, but I'll tell you more about that on another occasion. So it's been a wonderful evening this evening, a fantastic presentation, far more wide range than I thought it was going to be. And that's wonderful. That's actually really, really welcome and been great. So can I ask you all to please join me and thank Manoj in the usual way for a wonderful presentation this evening.
You are lavish in your praise, which I don't deserve. Thank you so
No,
much.
you most certainly do deserve it. Most certainly do. So don't be so modest. A man with a snice like yours should not be modest anyway. But seriously, we've had an international presentation this evening, and we do have an international toast. So before we conclude with the final toast and a few reminders about forthcoming events, Robin, over to you for a international toaster. I'll mention at the end, don't worry. You're still on mute, Robin. Still on mute.
Well, all I can say is it's much more interesting when I'm on mute.
Well, I would, well, possibly. Yes.
Okay.
I'll drink to that.
Dr. Manoj, in 2015, I went to Ethiopia, and I met with Rotaractors and with Rotary Club members. One of the Rotaractors began every sentence with an English word I'd never heard. He would go buzz away. And so it's buzz away this and buzz away that. And after many weeks, I understood he was saying, by the way. So when listening to your talk, a couple of things I noted. One is the phrase Rotary connects the world. One is Rotary shrinks the world. And the fact that one person and the efforts of one person can make a difference. The toast I would like to make is to the Rotary Club of Addis Ababa Central Mela. The club was set up by the Rotaractors who formed the first Rotaract club in Ethiopia, and then they set up their own Rotary Club in 2008. And it says on the Facebook page, the Rotary Club of Addis Ababa Central Mela gives back to the community through a range of undertakings pertaining to water well projects, educational and environment issues, building and strengthening educational institutions, and awareness raising on HIV care and prevention. But some of the Rotaractors, I was with them doing polio immunization in rural Ethiopia. I like the idea of exchanging banners, and would love to taste your sliced purple Madeira cake sometime. The toast now is to the Rotary Club of Addis Ababa Central Mela. So please.
Rotary Club of Addis Ababa Central Mela. Thank you, Robin. Right. That brings us to our conclusion. But before we conclude, just a quick reminder, Peter gave us some forthcoming dates there. Next Thursday, we have our charter night. We're returning to Aspire in South Trafford College. And as usual, the students there will look after us incredibly well. Aspire, Manoj, is a college, but the young people are taught catering and taught hotel skills and that side, and they always look after us incredibly well. So our charter night is there next Thursday. Very last minute. You're very welcome to come across if you want to do so, but I'll arrange it. Come as our guest.
I'm currently chairman of the Lord Mayor's Appeal Committee, and next Tuesday, Wednesday, did you say is it 3rd or 4th?
3rd and 4th, yeah.
The charter night.
Charter night's the 5th.
Yeah, it's end of Ramadan, so there's going to be Eid celebration in Bradford, and
of course,
it's a massive one. It's like Christmas, so yeah, I've been invited to go to a number of things and places. But I would really welcome a chance to visit your club and maybe give another follow-up talk about different things, about how we can collaborate more. But
That would be super. I mean, we're digressing slightly, but Robin's the president next year. You've seen him. You've seen him tonight. He hasn't got a moustache anywhere near as impressive as yours. But he'll be the president next year. He'll pick up on that. I'm working with Carol Jordan in District 1040 on a particular project, Operation Florian. So watch this space. I'll be in touch with you personally a bit more about that. But yes, come across during the changeover is heading towards us very, very quickly in July, isn't it? So come across next year and we'll definitely pick up on that.
And
we'll
if you can share if you can share the recording, because everything that I do, one of the things I do is 3 L's: look, listen, and learn. So I'm always learning and how I can better myself.
Yeah.
Because I'm no monopoly of wisdom or knowledge. I'm just a learner.
Yes. Great. Well, we do that. It has been recorded tonight, so we'll make sure that the link is available and you can publicize that link as well. People can log on and listen to your presentation this evening. But again, that's excellent. You know, as I say, we've got a charter night next Thursday. The following Thursday, on the 12th, the club is hosting on behalf of our district an international night, whereby we'll have a hybrid meeting. We're meeting for a meal at the Guildhall in Stockport. At 5:30 for 6. We will have a presentation from India on the work we did with the oxygen generators during COVID, and then some other presentations, one on Operation Florian at the end. So, you know, and again, we'll send you the link for that, Manoj. You can maybe link into that. If you can't come in the flesh, you can certainly be more than welcome to link into it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just want to tell you, in Stockport, there's a restaurant called Royal Nawab on Stockport Road, or I don't know what road it is, called the Royal Nawab. He was a former member of my club. So if you want to use that venue for your meetings or go out for a meal, they'll be very happy to host.
Oh yeah, well, follow up on that. Follow up on that.
We've heard they might be closing.
Yeah, we heard
We've heard they might be closing.
But yeah, we'll look into that.
We'll look into it.
Okay, and I noticed that Megha just put on the chat that she's a Manchester University alumni, so she must come back to Manchester as well sometime. But yeah, super. So that's on the 12th, and we're hoping for a really large audience, and we will publicize it across District 1040 as well as in our district. So I'll speak to you about that, Peter. Okay.
We mentioned all of them.
And then, sorry?
You mentioned all the events.
Yeah, well, that's just the first 2. We won't push too many events because we'll have a chance to push more of them. But the Charter Night and the 12th of May are 2 that are very important to look for. And of course, as Peter said, there's the Volunteer Expo in Birmingham on the 6th and 7th, which Julie and I'll be going to at least for part of the time. So, and then finally, before we actually sign off with the final toast, this Saturday is Robin's birthday. So we have to wish him all the very best in advance.
I thank you for that, but I'm not 100 yet, unlike the Bradford Club.
Well, yes, we can celebrate.
Yeah, congratulations on 100 years.
Most certainly, yes, most certainly. Congratulations. And unfortunately, even that Madeira cake wouldn't carry all the candles you need to carry, would it, Robin? But that's. But seriously, that's been a wonderful evening, everybody. Thank you for attending again, Manoj. Thank you for your wonderful presentation. I'll be in touch some more and we'll communicate some more. But can everybody therefore please join me in a toast that is very appropriate, because Manoj talked about refugees, and of course we've done a lot of work, Manoj, with Ukrainian refugees in Romania. We have a link with a club in Romania, and that's the latest. And you will think of those awful days in 1972 and that insane individual in the shape of Idi Amin. And he was utterly insane. We've got somebody else who's insane now, who's actually doing things in Russia. We've got this awful situation in Ukraine, and we've been involved in that. So when we have this final toast, let's think that it's a very appropriate toast, but sadly, it's not been achieved around the world yet. And so the final toast is Rotary and peace the world over.
Rotary and peace
the world over. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, and have a kind day.
Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. I'll be in touch. Thank you.
Lovely to see you, Helen.
Yes, lovely to see you.
Yes.
Take care.
Take care, Helen. See you soon.
See you soon.
See
Bye.
you next
Bye.
week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.